And as Martin Tyler used to say, we're live, and it's live. Welcome back to Fog Football. We're here with a wee bit more of an aftermath, a wee bit more of an Old Firm aftermath, a wee bit more of an SPFL aftermath. I've been dishing out live streams on my channel. I did the SPFL review show last night here on Fog Football, but no need to fear, everybody. There is two people on this channel. It's not just me putting on a squeakier voice, which some people thought, which I thought was actually quite funny, but we've got a lot to talk about today. There will be a preview show for the SPFL probably later on tonight where we'll both be in it. As for right now, though, let's talk about it. Let's get the comments in. It's subscriber only mode in the chat, so get the comments in. I'll fire away, but let's start, shall we, with talking about Wednesday, because of course Tuesday is a bit irrelevant. Rangers do take on Dundee. I talked about that game a wee bit earlier on my channel, right? But as I've got a USB lead in my pocket and trying to get that out because it's digging into me for whatever reason. But yeah, Rangers Dundee, it's a bit irrelevant. I'll probably do a live stream preview in that game alongside the comments of Clement and Dessers later on. So if you want to see a live stream on my channel, go check it out. But for Fog Football, we'll here kind of just give a wee quick preview. And we've already reviewed all the action at the weekend, but you know, Nick Montgomery. Let's start with Nick Montgomery, shall we? Because I know there'll be a lot of Old Firm talk in this stream, so we'll save that for the end. Nick Montgomery, as it is, 8 minutes to 3 o'clock here on the 13th of May. What's going to happen? Is Nick Montgomery going to be sacked today? 2 games to go. I mean, does it make sense to sack him right now? I mean, personally, I would. Hibs are going through managers like bloody Watford. That is the comparison. I mean, Rangers were linked to that comparison as well, because I mean, obviously, there's a lot of hatred towards Philip Clement at the minute. If you start, well, I say hatred. Hatred's not the right word, but there's a lot of people maybe flipping on Philip Clement and obviously not too impressed about how this is all going down. At the end of the day, 7 people watching it. Get the comments in, subscribe, get the comments in. As for Nick Montgomery, I don't think he's going to last that long, to be honest. I mean, Hibs fans, this channel, obviously, you know, Glasgow Giants and all that, that is a lot of what people are on this channel, right? But Hibs fans, I mean, who honestly wants Nick Montgomery to stay? What is the end game with Nick Montgomery? Because what's going to happen? You just keep the guy, right? And you're going to sack him end of September, start of October, in that region. It seems to be the repetitive pish. And it's the same with Rangers as well. Last couple of seasons, did it with Gio, did it with Beale. And as I sit here today, even though I think Clement's better than those two, can I honestly guarantee today that ain't going to happen? Probably not. As much as I don't want it to happen, he's got to get it right. John Lundstrom, though, what's that going to happen? If he plays a couple of games, obviously Hanlon and Stevenson are leaving Hibs at the end of the season, so that's good for them. But we'll have to wait and see how it goes for the rest of them, because there's a lot of players in there that Nick Montgomery's brought in on loan, especially in the summer. So, well, no, in the winter, sorry. And then again, you let him take over, right? And the problem with that is he brings his players in, then you sack him, and then what happens? You know, the next manager stuck with his players. I've seen it all too often with Rangers. We've got a comment, big man. Big Phil won't be sacked, Stevie, as in Lennon, hanging about like a beggar in the street. Yep, Big Phil, we can only pray he won't get sacked, because that means it's went well. But as for Nick Montgomery, I mean, why wouldn't you take Neil Lennon back? You know what? He is hanging around like a beggar in the street. Neil Lennon, he was kind of doing the same for the Aberdeen job. He's definitely doing the same here for the Hibs job. But I mean, Hibs' best spell in recent years came under Lennon. You know, a good couple of years ago, that was definitely Hibs' best spell. Hibs now, man, they're nowhere near Hearts and Aberdeen. I know Aberdeen are in the bottom 6 with them, but you look at the Aberdeen team, man, they shouldn't be there. And, you know, with this manager that they've got coming in, hell, even Peter Levin, it looks like it will get better. It's just, I don't know what they were doing with Roy Hodgson. Roy Hodgson, Jesus Christ, not Roy Hodgson. Neil Warnock, that's the guy, that's the other old guy. Right, Apollo R6 says, Rodgers can thank Rangers for helping him keep his job. He can. As much as that sucks, Rodgers is a lucky man. He is. Like, Celtic aren't good, right? I know we've repeated that quite a lot. But he knows that he's got away with one this season. Rangers just don't have the minerals, man. It's pathetic, and it shouldn't be, right? Rangers shouldn't be winning the league just to watch Celtic capitulate and get Rodgers sacked. They should be doing it for themselves. But I mean, how glorious would it have been? But instead, the opposite happened. It's flipped, and Brendan Rodgers, he's coming out with these digs. Oh, you all pretend that I was like a novice coming up here. Well, mate, the way you were managing, it would suggest you were like a novice. But you know what? See, when it came to crunch time, Brendan Rodgers is the one that's managed to get his team and players firing. Ain't that right? Right. Apollo saying, think it's time to bring Keylor Navas in. Free transfer if Butland leaves. Laugh my arse off. Imagine. Yeah, here, I wouldn't be against bringing Keylor Navas in. You look at TikTok, right? People saying, oh, why don't you bring in Aaron Ramsdale on loan for 5 million? What? Why would the Rangers spend 5 million on a loan deal for a goalkeeper? I don't even think it was factoring in. Jack Butland. So that's mental. But Jack Butland hopefully doesn't go. There was also Craig Gordon was in there for $1 million. What would sign him for $1 million? Craig Gordon's not worth $1 million. You know, is he a great goalkeeper? Well, I think he was. He has double leg break, man. It's hard to judge him. Right, he's not had that many games. He's looked a wee bit shaky. But yeah, Apollo R6. All I've seen on Facebook. Well, people want Keylor Navas. That's fair enough, right? Smell the glove. Love listening to the pure bitterness on here from you and the other hun. Cry me a river. Yes, Andrew, you can go ahead and super chat me, big man. Don't fear it. Here, there's no bitterness, right? Celtic are better than Rangers, but it doesn't take away the fact that both teams are poor. And Celtic fans can acknowledge that. You know, most of them will. Rangers are just pathetic. You know, would I sit here and take it flipped if we were pish but still a wee bit better than Celtic? Absolutely, of course I would. Of course I would. But at the end of the day is, you know, Rangers aren't doing that. And, you know, Celtic going to Champions League next year, unless they make serious signings or unless Rodgers can actually turn the players that looked good under Ange better from this season, they're going to get scudded in the Champions League. And the exact same, right, would have went for, what do you call them? I can't even remember my point. Can't even remember my point. By the way, if anyone's wondering, right, how to super chat, see in the bottom right hand corner where it's the dollar sign. See if you click on that, and then you can send whatever, right? Now, if you want to send £100 Fog Football's way, go ahead. Love how Smell the Glove is talking about bitterness when all you've said is facts. Absolute weirdo. He is. Yeah, like what's better about it? You know, obviously I want Rangers to win the league, right? But Rodgers and Celtic have had Rangers' number this season. That's the truth. But the reality is they're not that good of a team. Just we bottle it on the big occasion. You know what I mean? Am I a single-digit IQ mind? Ha ha ha. No, mate, you can be a triple-digit IQ mind up near pushing 200 if you send a super chat. But I mean, I don't think anybody with a single-digit IQ is commenting in this live chat at the minute. But come on, get the comments fired. I'll answer anything. Anything that gets fired into that comment section. Even if, see if it's a super chat, I'll double down. You got to double down. I will. Well, I mean, I'll answer it. I read every comment, man. This is what I'm talking about. It's a shame Rangers can't get the job done, though, but I'll get the job done. I'll read all the comments. Let's see. Pat O says, Rangers blew it for Ross County and Dundee, also Motherwell. Rangers outperformed Celtic versus the rest until they went top of the league, then crumbled. A question of bottle. Absolutely. Like, yeah, I'm not proud to admit this, but obviously, reviewing a lot of games this season, I've watched a lot of Celtic games, and they've been poor. Like, I mean, if you're a fair enough Celtic fan, you will acknowledge that, see, at home, Celtic have been dreadful for most of this season at home, scraping results, playing poor for large periods of game, but just getting over the line, in some cases drawn, like Kelly. You know, it was poor. It was absolute poor. Rangers, exact same. So, you know, both teams are shocking. But yeah, you're right. Rangers were better against the lower teams, and then as soon as they overtook it, that's when, I mean, Ross County getting scudded by Livingston, getting scudded by Motherwell 5-1, and here's Rangers bottling it, man. That 3-2 game was disgusting. But the Dundee one was worse, man. That was the worst performance you'll ever see, 0-0. Rangers have annoyed me so much that I've literally bought Footy Manager 24 just to make a better team than what we have. I mean, I used to play Football Manager 2024, right? I don't know. I've got it in the PS5. I know most people play it on the laptop or the computer, but I don't know, man. I think gaming's dead. It's not what it used to be, and I know Football Manager's not really the same. Well, I mean, I say it's not really the same as a PlayStation, even though I'm playing it on the PlayStation. But do you play the PlayStation? Let's see. Mind you, all thought it was done when you beat Kelly. Yeah, we did. I remember saying, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I remember saying if Rangers beat Hearts and they beat Kelly, I think the league's done because the momentum was with Rangers. But then what did Rangers go and do? They went and bottled it. They went and fucking bottled it. They went and drew, or sorry, get beat against Motherwell. Shocking. Right, hold on. Yeah, and if Celtic won it at literally won it at Rugby Park, it would be funny. And will they win it though? Leave it in the comments down below. Thank you, Strefion, so much. $2.99. That means a lot, big man. But will they win it? See, it doesn't matter though. Celtic don't need to go and push. I mean, if Rangers had them under pressure, right, then it would be fair enough to Celtic having a little bit of pressure, and there would be a lot more on this Wednesday game. But Celtic could get scud at 5-0 by Kelly, and it's like just all they got to do is draw against St Mirren. You know what I mean? There's nothing really going on there. Andrew Taggart says, "I've asked you loads of times about the wee Hearts fan. Where is he? He's currently at work. He works a 9 to 5. I don't work a 9 to 5. So see that $2.99 that he's sent in. Any more, I'll give him half it, and we can get him out of his 9 to 5. How about those apples? And we'll get him on here. There's a mental block against Celtic. How can we win away at Betis and shit the bed every time we go to Parkhead? Answer's as good as, I mean, why is that though? Why is that? I mean, how can we've said it though for ages? Like, how can this Rangers team perform in Europa League, Dortmund, Leipzig, all that? But then when it comes to Celtic, just bottle it. At least in the Europa League run, right? What I would say is, you were up against the Ange team then, and then like for Bale up against Ange. This Celtic team's nowhere near the Ange team, right? And everyone should be able to admit that. But I guess the Rangers team is nowhere near the team it was 2 years ago either. I know we're talking about Rangers and Celtic, but do we have to give Kelly plaudits for getting the Europa League 2 points off both? Yeah, Kelly's been fantastic. McKinn's for me as manager of the season. I know John McGlynn won it, but again, I don't think winning League One with Falkirk's all that impressive. Invincibility is, but I mean, it's not the same as it is like doing it in the top flight. Nowhere near where Rangers or Celtic. But yeah, fair play to Kelly. I think they'll do damage in the Europa League, by the way, or in Europe. I mean, they'll probably drop into the Conference League. Using Pat's logic, then surely Celtic were the team initially entitled to the league title, not Rangers, since we were 8 clear and blew it. Look, well, yeah, but that's the thing. Celtic blew an 8-point gap. Rangers clawed it back, got a wee bit ahead, and then blew that. It's poor for Celtic to even let Rangers get a sniff at it, but at the end of the day, see the record books, see in 2 years, see in 10 years, see in 20 years, is anyone going to look back and be like, oh, remember Brendan Rodgers blew the lead of 8 points and Rangers got it back and then they blew it? No, everyone's just going to be like, remember that title Brendan Rodgers won the first year back to make it 3 in a row? That's what people are going to care about. No one's going to care in 5-10 years about the fact that Rangers were clawed it back. No one's going to care. It's the reality. I mean, right now I'm thinking, Brendan Rodgers, he's bottled the 8-point gap and he still won it. But at the end of the day, no one's going to care. Both teams have been dreadful, both home and away. Personally, I think that we both need big changes because the smaller teams are now competing with both of us, and that's the thing, right? Look how bad the Old Firm is. They're competing with us in games, but you look at the league table. Look at Hearts. There was that time where Hearts had Rangers, Celtic, and Hibs, and Ewan Cameron's given if we win these couple of games, we're in a title fight. Hearts need to keep hold of their best players and sign fantastically well if they're ever going to get to be able to compete with them. But look at them, you couldn't ask really for Rangers and Celtic to be this poor, and not like Aberdeen, Hibs have their worst seasons in a wee while, and then Hearts are one of their better seasons, but still nowhere near, man. Anyway, it's Strafafian, Celtic fan for Australia, but great perspective. Thank you. Great minds think alike there. Celtic were abysmal in the League Cup in Europe, but Rangers crumbled when the pressure was on. Lucky not to lose all derbies, but could have lost all and won the league had they kept nerve. Here, absolutely right. The league was lost for me in the 3-3 game. I didn't like the celebrating after. I know it wasn't, I think it was blown out of proportion. It was more just like appreciation for the fans rather than, oh, look at us, we drew. But, That's embarrassing. I think we needed to win that. To go 2-0 down was unacceptable, man. At home, all our own fans, no away fans, pathetic. And we can talk about the Ross County Dundee games, and yeah, they were massive, right? But say we won both of them. As a Rangers fan right now, I have no faith that we would have went to Parkhead and not get beat if Celtic needed to win, and all we did was needed to avoid defeat. The team's arse probably would have collapsed, man. Can't sit here and say we would have won the league if we beat Ross County and Dundee. I think what it does, obviously, is leave the door open for like Wednesday night, like if Kelly did take points off them, but obviously it's gone now. Andrew Taggart, Celtic have a score to settle with Kelly. It will definitely be a win for the boys. They do. I mean, obviously Kelly's took a lot of points off them, knocked them at the League Cup. I mean, it's Celtic's toughest game of the split. I should never be saying that, considering the fact there was an Old Firm in there with a title on the line, but it will be. I think it'll personally be a draw, but I could see either team winning. Rangers so far lost Old Firm games. Enough said. Can't even win at Ibrox. We know Celtic fans there. Yeah, it's pathetic, man. It ain't. It is. I mean, sorry, but look at me. Look at the stat. The last two games that we have scored first in the Old Firm was the 3-0 last year, and when Aaron Ramsey scored in the 2-1 defeat over 2 years ago. Come on. You can't be doing that, man. I'm sorry, you can't. Let's see. Razor, not a question of entitlement. Does that respond to somebody else? Right. Apollo R6 says, not going to lie, gut it, but happy to see Sakala doing so good. Just wish we kept him, but Mr. Mole decided he wasn't good enough. Must have his few blocked by his mole. His mole is quite big, isn't it? He was in fucking Edinburgh, man. He was probably eclipsing him off our seat. Andrew Taggart says, they did win one, a moral victory. Yeah, I don't know if it's a language barrier for Clement or whatever's going on there, but when he's coming out and saying shit like that, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with Clement coming out and saying, "Oh, we got the moral victory." I mean, end of the day, we were at home, right, in the Old Firm, and if we won, not that it necessarily put it out of sight as Celtic, right, but if we won, but then it's if buts maybes, man. We beat Celtic, right, and we could have went and lost to Dundee Ross County. Sitting here now, you could argue that if we lost to Celtic, right, in that Old Firm, that could have been the kick up the arse to get that would have made us actually beat Ross County and Dundee. It's everything, it's if buts maybes. We only deal in absolutes here. Denial Nero Jaffrey. Do you rate Naismith? I do. Hearts fan. Your brother said Nielsen over Naismith was the worst take ever. Yo, I didn't rate Naismith, but as a Just Eat advert comes on, you cannot complain with what he's did here. You can't. He's done a great job for Hearts this season. I don't necessarily rate him, but you can't take away what he's done this season. I did rate Nielsen. I don't think Nielsen should ever have been sacked. I mean, he literally got sacked from dropping from third to fourth. And I didn't like when Naismith came in and said, well, you know what, actually, it doesn't matter about finishing third when it clearly should. But yeah, I mean, I rate Naismith to a degree, but I'm not. I think Hearts is his level. He's not going to get a better job than Hearts in his managerial career. I'd be shocked if he did. And especially, it's probably not welcome at Rangers after certain comments over a decade ago. But anyway, Apollo, I love when Celtic fans pipe up, think they're actually good this season. Laugh my arse off. Both are just as shite as each other. They are, right? But at the end of the day, I would love to sit here and brag about how shite Rangers are, but we're still winning the league. End of the day, see when you're shite and you can still win the league, what does that tell you when you can play good? I'd love to, but here they're entitled to brag as much as I don't want them to, and as much as not that I don't want them to. I don't want them to in a sense because it means Rangers are doing poor, but not that Joseph Stalin over here. But Stephen says, well, that game aside, I'm glad that will be the last derby for away fans. It was strange when you score. A lot of people in the stadium didn't even notice. Yeah, it is weird, isn't it, man? Because the away team score, and then it's just silence. Like, you don't even hear anything. You hear a pin drop. Monaco fans think that Big Phil is tactically naive, and I'm starting to agree with him. This long ball football is only acceptable if you're winning. Absolutely. What I would say is Clement in Belgium, he took over Genk, wasn't it? And they were fifth and he won the league. Then he took over their rivals and won it twice. I think we should give Clement the end of next season no matter what. Even if we start poor next season, right? Because I think we just need to give a manager time. You just can't keep sacking him. Even I don't know, man. It's not, but Bale and Gio. It's not like I said give them to the end of the season. I wanted them. I wanted Bale to resign after that 1-0 game against Celtic. I said sack him while the gap is small. And then what happened? We lost more points. Got beat against Aberdeen. So yeah, I think Clement meant a victory for morale, as in they got away with one. Yeah, but we got away with one. We should have won. You know what I mean? I don't think drawing at home's getting away with one. If that draw, right, is like the second last game of the season that gets you over the line to win the league title, absolutely. But I mean, there were so many games to go after it. You know what I mean? Should Celtic sign a day, in your opinion? Yes, because it would be a waste of money. I mean, it's not that he's horrible, right? But 5 million for him, for a guy that you know is just a bit average, like he's missed a lot of easy chances. He scored crucial goals for Celtic, don't get me wrong, against Motherwell, a few penalties as well. But you know, there's been in both old firms. He scored that goal, I guess, to make it 3-2. But he could put the game to bed. Most Celtic games, he comes on. Was that period? Oh, he's better than Kyogo, but he's just nowhere near as good as Kyogo, man. I don't think he's bad. It's the same with Dessers. I think they'd be all right as like number 2 options, but with a day, you already know what you're going to get. Like if we sign Dessers on loan, right, for this season, would we really want to go and sign him for 6 million? I'm not too convinced. Um, that third place thing by Nancy was a bit. Yeah, it was. I don't know why I said that. Also, Miovski. Yeah, yep. Celtic. It would be a good signing if they went and got Miovski. Have you got your eye on anyone for Rangers to sign? See, to be honest, I haven't really thought about it. Right, apart from like inside the actual league, I would like us to go sign Shankland. Hell, I would like Miovski. I think Miovski's going to be a bit too dear. Shankland, way more doable, and he fits the Scottish quota. So I would go for Shankland over Miovski. But here, if I got either one, I wouldn't complain. And I think just Danny Armstrong, someone like that, it's not going to cost much. There's so many players. Like Kelly's got a lot of hidden gems this season. Connor Barron, injury prone, I'd probably take him. Just go cheap, man. There's no need to like Celtic did so well going into the Japanese market, right? But Rangers there just seems like a constant trend for Rangers to go and sign duds for the Championship, and it's not doing anything, man. Look at our own league because they get the old firm, they get the magnitudes of playing at Celtic and Rangers. See these Diddy players like Tom Lawrence, who's played in the Championship his entire fucking career, right? Playing mid-table football for Derby County, getting relegated. He doesn't understand what it's like to win. That's the truth. What about Kyogo? He's not speaking to me. Happening. Tesco's finest is in there. There he is. Kyogo will always be first choice, but needs a strike partner like Adair or Miovski. O's not good enough. If Celtic signed Miovski, right, and Ida didn't re-sign Kyogo and Miovski, if they kept them in the summer, man, I would. I mean, I'm not saying I would concede the league right now. I guess if Rangers went and signed Shankland, it would kind of cancel it out. But I'm not convinced we'd do that. I mean, that's two good strikers. You're looking at a case for Kyogo. If he's not firing, Miovski will. And if Miovski plays for one of the old firm, the amount more goals he will get, because Aberdeen are shite, aren't they? Diano Nero Jeffrey, the Belgian league is a decent league. Unlike Beale, they were losers, but Big Phil's a winner. Yeah, the Belgian league is a decent league. I mean, he's won league titles. He knows how to do it. But that's what gives me a bit more faith about the guy signing his own players, because he's done it before. He signed his own players in way more competitive leagues. I mean, it's a 2-horse race here. All he's got to do is beat Brendan Rodgers' Celtic. Easier said than done, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's harder than taking your team fifth in the Belgian league and winning the league, I think. Or easier, sorry. In Scotland, the battering ram, like Adair, is useful as proof. He's a physical player, but there's like a million players you could go out and sign for. I think there's better players, man. I mean, if Miovski's going to cost you 6 million, you'd rather sign him for 1 million more than Adair, wouldn't you? Right, I'm not sure why a lot of big Scottish clubs are in love with foreign players, while getting foreign is good for Europe and stuff, but main thing is the domestic league and cup. Of course it is. Like, yeah, it absolutely is, but some people just don't really understand the league. I don't think people understand the magnitude. I seen someone yesterday in my stream comment like, "Oh, why not sign players like Dynamo Zagreb and put like leagues like that where they're used to winning the league?" I see like Shakhtar Donetsk, because they're used to winning the leagues. You know what I mean? They get what it is to win that league. Andrew Tiger, this is what Rodgers does. He signs all the best players from Scottish teams and loans them back. Yeah, I mean, if you remember, like, see when Rangers went down, Celtic were signing, like, Gary Mackay-Stevens, Stuart Armstrong, those sort of, I mean, they signed Shifty as well. I mean, not that they were all particularly fantastic. I mean, I don't think Shifke was that good, but Armstrong and Mackay Stevens were decent. But it's like that's what to do. I mean, they weakened Dundee United so much, and that's what you need to do. But are Rangers going to do that? I'm not too sure. Celtic should sign Miovski and Butland. Yeah, Butland's great. He's not going to go to Celtic, but they would take him. Christie as well. I'd take Butland at Celtic. I mean, who wouldn't? Tesco's finest was at the Hearts game, by the way, and the Dundee fans were the definition of diet Huns. There you go. They were the definition of diet Huns. Dundee fans. Andrew Taggart, Christie, yeah. Scotty Two Boys says league title, 3 in a row. Here we go, 10 in a row, and that's right. I don't know when we're going to end this stream. Probably in about 5 minutes or so. But yeah, I mean, Celtic are on 3 in a row because they will win this league. It's over, right? Unless, I mean, could you imagine the turnaround like if somehow Rangers won this league for this point? I couldn't even. It would be like the most impossible league title ever if it actually got turned around. It won't. Not getting anyone's hopes up, but 3 in a row. They're third of the way to 9 in a row, and obviously Rangers are a much more level playing field than what they were during the last 9 in a row. But if you go through this trend of not getting the right manager, the only thing is, like, in a few years, these players that have been here and have been serial losers for Rangers, they're all getting older. But then there's like a new breed of serial losers coming through because they've all played with these guys, and it's like, do you rip the team up completely? Celtic, when they lost 10 in a row, we won 55. They ripped that team up, man, like Forrest, Bain, McGregor. They're like the only players being kept. Like, literally the only players being kept. Everyone else had to go, even the good players like Christie, Edouard, etc. But they were able to go in Adger, all to go in a rebuild. I think Christie went in the January, didn't he? And Frimpong as well. But here, even your good players, it's better just to completely start over. But the ones they kept, Forrest, McGregor, Celtic men, Celtic men. Even though Cal McGregor, he's a Rangers man, right? Stevie, you've no mentioned the 60 million that this league was worth. Absolutely. I mean, I don't think Celtic's going to spend the 60 million. I mean, obviously they'll spend a bit of it, but it's important. You can't deny it. But Rangers, like, look when they qualified with Gio, though, right? And what did they do with it? They didn't do anything with it. They did not do anything with it. Got into the Champions League against all odds, beat PSV, by the way, and then what did we do? Sat there for like the last 3 weeks of the window. Don't even know if it was 3 weeks. Might not have been. It was like a week maybe. Or was it? I can't remember. It might have been about a week. And could have, all that Champions League money didn't even go to make a marquee loan signing. All right, yeah, and actually, no, Ramsey was after that, wasn't he? Ramsey was way after before that. Sorry, just shows how long ago Ramsey was. 60 million Champions League money. The Scrooge Celtic board will need a bigger save. But see, they won't spend it. Obviously, it's important Celtic win it, right, and get that money because having that money is better than not having it. But if you're not going to support, I mean, I think we can all kind of guess what Celtic are saving it for. But I mean, when's that day going to come? The court cases. When's that payout coming? Like, what if that day never comes? What if it doesn't get resolved for like another decade? Or Celtic's just going to sit on that money? Tesco's finest says take away 55, and you'd think Rangers were still rotting in the lower leagues. For fuck's sake, you would. You would. It's not good enough, man. One league, one cup, and another cup. Tav in or Tav out. We'll get to that in a minute. Enough of that now. Here, I mean, I don't want to talk about those court cases, but that's that even Celtic fans are saying that's the only explanation why they're keeping their money. I don't know. What's the other explanation? They just want to get rich and don't spend it because they're still winning the league without it, and that's another thing. Could Celtic get complacent in the summer, spend hee-haw, and could Rangers bankrupt themselves again and spend a lot of money? We'll have to wait and see. But for Tav in or Tav out, honestly, Tav out. I think we need a new captain, man. We need a new guy that's not been the captain of. I think he's won like 9 out of 36 Old Firms. I mean, that's not good enough. And 8 of them coming under fucking Gerrard, pretty much. Oh man, right. Andrew Taggart. No, Phil Mack. Sorry. Rangers need a clear out of players. Some have been under 4 managers and don't show effort on the pitch. Yeah, it's this has happened to so many managers, right? It's like you look at Arsenal, you look at Manchester United. Obviously, Arsenal are brilliant right now, right? But you look at Arsenal in the dying days under Wenger, so many players there on big wages. Emery came in and Arteta, but Arteta managed to get rid of them like Ozil, etc. Right? You look at Manchester United now; they are a shadow. I mean, if Manchester United can go to absolute shite, you can bet your bottom dollar we can. Difference is we actually managed to come back up, win a league, get a Europa League final, and nose all the way back down. So here it can happen to anybody, but yeah, it's players, but it's easier to get rid of one man than 10 men. That's what it comes down to. Um, horse races for Dermot Desmond. Does he even go to a Celtic game? He just seems to be at the horse race, and you're right with that. Down at Ayr, wherever he is, he's probably over here, over in Ireland there by Daniel near Jaffrey. Unlike Shankland or Gordon, he's not a leader. Um, he's not. I mean, I'd love Shankland as captain, man. But again, would he come in and be a captain? Not too sure. Tony Macaroni says surely Sterling should. I'd love Sterling to be captain. I would. See the fact that he called them out and said they were shite. That's exactly what I want for a captain, man. Are we going to get it? Not too sure because Tav's going to be there. I mean, Tav's getting old, man. He can't play forever. And the role he plays, man, the older he gets, he can't do that. He cannot. He cannot. I mean, you could argue he can't do it right now. So what's he going to be like in 3-4 years when he's bombing up the right hand? Hopefully, Saudi come in for him, man. We get a big send off that way. Celtic need the opposite. As soon as the Ange players leave, he'll crumble. Unless Rangers are even shittier. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I don't see. I can only see Rangers really getting stronger this summer, and that's not me with my blue tinted specs on. The team is so poor right now. How can it not get? I mean, I thought you probably could have said that the last 2 summers, right? But it has to get better, right? It has to get better. There's a number for London's ringing me. I dead on. I'm no answering that. Not a chance. What is that? Is that Michael Beale ringing me? I don't know what Michael Beale's doing. What was I even on about there? But yeah, what I would say, Celtic obviously like Hattati, O'Reilly, etc., etc. I would say right that those guys would actually go for money, and that will weaken Celtic. I mean, I look at Rangers. Butland's probably the only guy I can see that would properly weaken us. I don't think Sterling's going to go. What else we got here? Rangers should build their team around Lundstram, Tav, and Sterling. Well, I mean, we can put Sterling in there. Lundstram and Tav, not so much, right? Andrew Taggart here, get yourself a pint. I need to drink my tea, actually. That's getting cold 42 minutes in. Thank you so much, Andrew. Single digit IQ. You're a legend of fog football here, mate. Phil Mack says, my friend works for the horse racing jockeys and Dermot Desmond uses as a tax loss. He hasn't put any of his own money into the club. It's Celtic owns funds that fund that team. He uses Celtic as a tax loss. Yeah, I mean, like back to United, Glazers are pretty much the same thing there, aren't they? That's pretty much what happens. Pat O says, I think Rangers have overperformed this season and will struggle next season with a rebuild. They will. I think they have overperformed in a sense, and I understand why you think they would struggle with a rebuild, but hold on here. Lamb Garv says, I lost 700 quid on the darts. Who'd you bet, mate? Was it Johnny Clayton? Was that on Saturday, Johnny Clayton? Johnny Clayton was evens against some guy I'd never heard of, man, and he get beat. Who also beat me? St Johnston and Livingston. I did it under 2.5 at half time. Livy got 2 goals, but I was put the cash out, and I also had Motherwell under like 5.5 because it was 3-1 at half time, and they go and win 6-1. I was put the cash out, man. It was worth like 200 quid. Sick. Phil Max says, I'm a Rangers fan. We only help Celtic by keeping players with no hunger. Absolutely. Tesco's finest. I reckon Hibs go down next season. Haha. They won't go down, but I say they won't go down. I mean, I think it's hard for like an Aberdeen or Hibs to finish 12th because there always seems to be a team that's cut adrift. But I could see them finishing 11th. Put it that way. Tony Macaroni says that's a fair point. Phil, what did Phil say? He uses, yeah. Well, Hibs keep Monty. I mean, that's what I titled this stream, isn't it? I can't even check what I've titled this stream. It was, well, part of it was to do. I think it'll be gone. I don't think it'll be the day. I think it'll be probably the end of the season. I mean, if they lose the next 2 games, man, they have to get rid of him. Raskin's out injured. See, I don't really want to talk too much about the Rangers injury news. Can go do a live stream on my channel later on about that. But I think there's like 10 guys out, man. But it's not Rangers injuries, man, are an absolute disgrace, aren't they? But at 13, so fucking knows more. Celtic guy knows more about the Rangers injuries than I do. But I'm not using injuries as an excuse, and I haven't all season because both teams have suffered. Celtic were without their best players for large periods. It's pathetic to start talking about injuries. Yeah, were Rangers down to bare bones on Saturday? They were, but you know what? You should build for that. You should prepare for that, and you should sort out your training regimes and your whatever's happening in the medical department because it's been a mess for so long now. And I'm not going to use injuries as an excuse, man, because at the end of the day, the chances created. I mean, what about Kamara? What Kamara, man? Disgusting performance. Have Rangers injuries were caused by fitness coaches for Beale's era with no proper prep? You know what, though? I would say that's true because under Gio, everything was so slow. See, when Beale came in, I remember the energy levels are going straight back up here. We're trying to get them back because he was trying to go back to what Gerrard was doing. But, you know, if you're going for like that drastic change mid-season, no wonder that's injuring players. But then there's players coming in this season, Danilo, you can't rely on him, can't rely on Yilmaz, shite, man. And that's not, people forget about Danilo. I'm talking about, have Shankland in, right? And then have Dessers in behind him. Then where's that leave Danilo? Who knows? Tony Macaroni says, the big shock for me was Celtic beating Rangers with Carter Vickers out because when he's out, Celtic struggle. Here, absolutely. But that was the first Old Firm. It was the second Old Firm. It's just not good enough. No good enough whatsoever for Rangers, man. They were going in with like Welsh and Scales and like Narocki, and Rangers didn't even lay a glove on them. And the first Old Firm of the season was disgusting. Denial Nero Jaffrey says, I forgot about Danilo. Yeah, everybody's forgot about Danilo. So did Danilo. He's posting on like Instagram and Twitter like, I'm getting ready. It's like, I'm sorry, I just don't really. We've just lost the league, man. The guy's posting 10 minutes after it. He's doing like push-ups, like he's training for the Olympics or something. I mean, like, or against Ivan Drago. Tesco's finest off Todd. I take you'll be supporting Tottenham for the first time against City tomorrow. Hell yeah, Arsenal need to win that league, but. City are a job. I mean, what are they doing with these 115 charges, by the way? Like, what's the end game with Man City? It's a joke. If Rangers get shafted, right, why don't City? 115 charges. I mean, obviously, I think, if you Tottenham, West Ham, Chelsea, those sort of London teams, but I think every other neutral wants Arsenal to win the league, man. Absolutely. But again, I mean, but put it this way. People are saying it's pathetic and Tottenham fans thinking like that, but if Rangers were in a predicament where if we lay down to like Aberdeen and it meant Aberdeen would win the league over Celtic, maybe Aberdeen's poor choice, we don't like Aberdeen, but here, I'd want us to lie down if it meant Celtic didn't win the league. I mean, you look at a couple of seasons, or say a couple of seasons ago, just before Gerrard came in, Celtic pretty much let Aberdeen beat them last game of the season, so we'd finish third. And you know what? Nothing really against them for that because it's the rivalry, isn't it? Let's see here. Danilo is a proven goal scorer through his record in Holland. Just think Desser's got the preference due to his height. True, but Sam Lammers is a proven goal scorer with his record in Holland. So what's that going to do? Carter Vickers, Celtic's most important player by a long way. He is, but I would my two centre back team players this season, man. I'd probably say Lewis Mayo and Liam Scales. I think are the two. For me, I think Carter Vickers, he's not really been injured since end of February. But yeah, if you want to put Carter Vickers and Scales in over Lewis Mayo, I wouldn't cry about it. Liam Gav says, sick to death of hearing about it. The charges with City will be charged, but I don't think it will be 115. They will be charged. I think it will be 75, and some will be dropped due to technical reasons. Yeah, but it's all good saying 115, right? Or not all of them, 75. I mean, Forest and Everton are getting deducted points for 2 charges. if you're getting dropped 3 points for every one charge at 75, you're looking at like, oh, they have to at least go down to the Championship. City have the money, Rangers didn't. That's how it goes. Always has. Yeah, but the difference is with Manchester City. Like, I mean, it's 115 charges, and it just seems to be swept under the rug. With Rangers, it was pretty much out there, boom, down to the lower leagues you go. With Man City, it looks like this is getting dragged out for ages. Mayo has been class. Lewis Mayo was mince, Frankie Kent all day. Lewis Mayo was mince, Frankie Kent all day. I mean, Frankie Kent's been good, but I put Lewis Mayo above them, but just slightly. Just clocked what makes 55 worse. It was a COVID title. It does make it that bit worse. I mean, I'm not going to take it away for Rangers for winning the league, right? Because there was no fans, but it makes it worse because the fans couldn't really celebrate. I know, when they won it was mental celebrations in Glasgow, but again, it's not the same when you're not actually in the stadiums and shit. Phil Mack says, plus City have the best lawyers delaying the charges. That's the only reason this is dragging on with City. But see, that's where like the world's corrupt, man, with lawyers and all. Like no lawyer should be able to get Man City off what they're doing, man. It's a joke. Mayo would be Rangers' best centre half. He would be, but we get rid of him. That game, Celtic through versus Aberdeen. I bet Considine to score at amazing odds of 100-1. Did he score? He must have scored in that game. How much did he stick on that 100-1 for Considine? Mental. I mean, I remember what in the World Cup. I think I got it 40-1. Who was France playing like last game? Was it Morocco in the group stage? And I did Australia to beat Denmark and Morocco to beat France. It was like 40-1. I stuck 40 quid on it. That's how you win a bet. But let's see if Olympiacos can win the Conference League. So yeah, but the problem is, right? Rangers. It's very hard for us to drop into the Conference League. Celtic literally can't. They can only go. Actually, for next season, they can't even drop into the Europa League. So for Celtic and Rangers to drop into to win the Conference League, the coefficient has to be low enough for one of us to drop into it for finishing in the top two. So I just don't see how it's ever going to happen. The difference with City and Rangers is City are dealing with football authorities, whereas Rangers were punished by HMRC. True, I guess that's why you can't escape the tax man at the end of the day. Football authorities maybe get you a wee bit away with it. They're a wee bit more lenient. But again, I mean, see with Man City though, I don't think anyone wants their titles to be took away, but it's unfair that you see other teams like Forest and Everton getting hit with them and they're not. Phil Mack says, actually, Olympiacos are doing well because the final is in Athens. Yeah, but I mean, the final was in Dublin this year, Europa League. I mean, that was another incentive for Rangers, but we played pish, You still got to step up, don't you? I watched some of the youth games when Mayo and King were centre back pairing. They were solid. Just surprised King isn't playing under Clement. Well, hopefully he can play the Mora. Tesco's finest, momentum. The only way is if Hearts or Aberdeen finish above them or something. Yeah, but that's just not going to happen. But with the coefficient, obviously it's fell really low this season. Next season, if Rangers finish second, I think we would go into like the Europa League playoff round. Don't quote me in that. And then obviously that meant if we lost that, we would drop into the Conference League. I don't want Rangers to go in the Conference League, but if we were in it, the objective for me would be to win it. Man City hired David Panic KC at 80 grand a day. I wouldn't mind 80 grand a day. I've made £8 off this live stream so far. It's not quite 80 grand. An alternative reality, Rangers have a Europa League and a Tab statue outside Ibrox. Yep, but that's no happening, is it? That's the alternative reality. And alternative reality, I get sent 80 grand into this live chat and I'm on a beach somewhere smoking a cigar. But that's the alternative reality, man. No happening. But I mean, what else? Do Rangers not go in the champ? No, I think Rangers go in the third round, right? But I'm talking about next season. We're level with the Czech League right now. We need us and Rangers to step up. So I don't trust Celtic and Kelly and St Mirren. I actually trust Kelly. I think Kelly will do really well in Europe. I have more faith in Kelly and St Mirren, than I do Hibs and Aberdeen, which is a bizarre thing to say, but I think that's just the state of affairs that's going on. Aberdeen, man. But I say that Aberdeen are really good, really good Conference League run. Really overperformed. But you look at Hibs, man, losing to that Andorran team. You cannot do that. You can't afford to do that. Nero Jeffrey, as I mentioned, trust Killing St Mirren to just not Celtic. But yeah, I mean, I'm fair. Celtic obviously are in the Champions League. It's a bit harder for them, but yeah, their European record ain't that good. Don't kid yourself. Don't see Rangers getting through Champions League qualifiers. Neither do I, right? With this team right now, we get pumped. But yeah, if Clement makes the right signings and we get performing early on in the season, we can give it a good go, a decent enough draw, but I'm not going to hold out too much on it. Let's see. Millie haven't got the squad. Kelly, Millie, they're pish. Kelly under McKinns will do well in Europe as they strengthen some areas. Miovski to Rangers, Matondo to be sold, with Lawrence, Hadji, Tavernier, and Goldson. Yeah, that's 5 players that need to go. Trips. Well, I mean, Lundstrom as well. Barisic, hopefully they go to Turkey. I mean, it's a mess at Rangers, man. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. It's like James Forrest, right? He was getting so much abuse, and even to this season, to a degree, he's still getting it. And he really stepped up in the last couple of months, right? A guy's Celtic career was done, and you know what? He's won a hell of a lot of trophies at Celtic, and he's getting unrightfully. I mean, he's getting criticised all the time, and he stepped up with some crucial goals, crucial assists, and just playing overall good. So many players in that Rangers team that have been there for years, just not doing it, man. Just not doing it. It's pathetic, really, when you look at it. Is Hadji still alive? Don't even know. He's Alvarez, isn't he? Alves. Coppin has an eye for a good player. Look at the signings he made at PSV. They sold for over 10 million and were brought for less than 2 million. Coppin is now head of recruit. Yeah, no, he is, but signing Fabio Silva with the intent of winning, I think Fabio Silva's a risk. Alternative realities and all that. Fabio Silva could have worked it, but it didn't. It really didn't, and that's a shame. But is what it is. I thought he was all right against Celtic, apart from missing 2 clear opportunities. Who else? Cortez. I think Cortez and Diamonde are all right signings. What's your tip for the nights? Aston Villa and Liverpool, or Aston Villa at home? Well, I think for the title race, everyone would want Liverpool to beat Villa because then it gives Spurs an incentive to beat City. But again, Ange says his team's not going to throw it regardless. I have to wait and see. But Liverpool are doing a hole at the minute. They're not that good. I think it'll probably be a draw. I mean, I guess a draw keeps it alive for Spurs. But we just need to beat City. And true, Liam Gavs. Rangers need Kenny Miller as head coach. Chris Boyd is his number 2. Potentially, but then, Kenny Miller would be telling people to go out there and snap people, man, for these red cards. Only way to revitalize the club. They need something. Alex Ray, he's in there, though, with Clement. That's it, though. Seeing you hear these pundits, like, Boyd always brings up good points. He really does, but it's like that needs to be getting made in the changing room. I mean, Alex Ray used to be a pundit. I remember him when the games were on BT, and he would have said similar stuff, but it's like, when you're in there, they really say it. I mean, if he's battered Silva, fair enough. Basically, to trigger another move is sometimes agents get players loans to trigger other signings they have on their books. I think Diamonde has the same agent as Silva. Yeah, obviously, we do live in an era where football agents are obviously, very influential where their players go and how much money they get out of it. Fabio Silva probably going to be released by Wolves. Yeah, he probably will be, but I don't want to be anywhere near Fabio Silva. I'm sorry, man. His diving and his pathetic antics, man. Even when we scored against Hearts in the semi-final, man, he's bitching because he didn't get the ball past him. It's like, hold on, look when the ball did go to him when we were 2-0 up. His fucking arse went. Pathetic. You should have a word with Clement. See if you can get Big Chris in there. Here, if Clement wants a word with me, he can come on this live stream, but I'm not going out my way to reach him. Bloody hell, I don't even want him at Hearts. See, the thing is, all these rotten Rangers players are on big wages, so it won't be that easy to get rid of. True, but at least with a few of them that are on a contract running it, with like John Lundstrom and co. Olivier Torres, Seville free agent. Lucian Rodriguez, amazing young talent. Luka Jovic, free agent to Inter. Get them all signed. I need to do a live stream. It'll be on my channel here. We've talked too much about Rangers, haven't we? So Celtic should get rid of their Japanese players for diving. Silva was fine relative to other loan signings. Did a job out of position. No, I'm not saying, but no, the difference is, right? I hate diving. I absolutely despise diving. I hate it, right? It was pathetic, man. And I get it. Kyogo does dive, but not Kyogo also does. He wins you big games, he wins you league titles. Fabio Silva, right? was flinging himself about and winning us. If he won us the league this year with like 20 goals somehow in the final 6 months, his diving would be a wee bit easier to stomach. But I hate it, man. I fucking hate it. Maybe you can turn up at night to the stadium along with that Celtic fan. What stadium? What stadium at night along with what Celtic fan? What Ryan 118? Who are we talking about here? What Celtic fan am I talking about? Let me know. Tesco's finest, Jackie boy. Mr. Freeland, where's the youth development for all Scottish clubs? Scotland always produce class players, and we got a Doak, for example, and he goes for peanuts. Where is Doak, by the way? See, he's injured, isn't he? I think he's out the Euros. I'd have took him. Ross Wilson is tripping. What about Cantwell? So, shut it, you fool. Ibrox to speak to Clement. Aha. Oh, I was that Celtic guy up at the training ground. That was sad, man. Come on. It's like the guy walking through Glasgow shouting "Big Job now." It's things like that, and we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt because it was during the day and not at night. We're going to do so bad in the Euros. I swear all our players are out. I was looking so forward to the Euros like last year because I was like, oh, this team. But I don't know, man. Recently, it's been so poor. I wouldn't be surprised if it's worse than the last one. I mean, Hungary and Switzerland, I think here you could easily lose those two games, but you could very easily pick up 6 points. And Germany and what they used to be. So we'll have to wait and see. Might do. We watch alongs for the Euros, man. Rangers fans think the guy moaning at Butland was a secret Rodgers agent. Yeah, I disagree with that, but I mean, I guess weirder things have happened, haven't they? Joffrey says Lewis Fergie's out. Yep, Tab will gain legendary status. The penalty kick will be named after him. Silva isn't the type of player Rangers need it, but I think Coppin thought since he played at PSV and did okay, that's why he signed. But I think the Danish market is going to be a good place, Rangers. The Euros group we got is awful. Right, actually, we've got, obviously, people are talking about Cantwell diving as well. Cantwell's diving's bad, but it was nowhere near as bad as Fabio Silva. And I called it out. The one he did against Aberdeen, I think it was the 1-1. It was disgusting. I was like, what the fuck's he doing, man? It's pathetic. So hopefully, yeah, go to the Danish market. The Euros group we got is awful. I don't think it's that bad. I think the Euros group's very, I wouldn't say it's winnable, but it's easy to get out of, man. You win one of those games, you're through. So, I mean, winning 1 out of 3, I'll take that every day of the week. Can get players 6-0 pumped against Germany. Yep. Scotland need to take James. I wouldn't mind taking Forrest. I mean, unthinkable 6 months ago, but you can't really complain about it now. Silva dives constantly and loses us more balls than he wins. Right, get your last comments in here. I'm probably going to go to an hour mark, which is what 7.5 minutes away, because I do need a shite. I need a Rangers. That's what I need. I need a Rangers at the end of the night, even though it's daytime. People like saying Scottish clubs are broke. Are we really, though? Compared to Swedish, Polish, and other clubs at the moment, aren't poor, but because we're Scottish, talk sport and other people. Yeah, that is true. Like, compared to other leagues, we're not that poor, right? But what you've got to bear in mind is Celtic and Rangers are so much bigger than any Polish and Swedish teams. And I think because of that, people just hold the Scottish League more accountable for being so skint. I think that's just the case we're looking at. Because, if you look at teams, right, in European football, like the biggest teams, Rangers and Celtic are nowhere near them financially. And I think that's why it gets picked upon. It's not our fault. But again, the more money gets pumped into the league, the worse it becomes in a sense. I think the Premier League, to me, it's a tourist league. We all know it. Right, and I don't want the Scottish leagues to overcome that, but I would like more money to be in it, absolutely. Silva just doesn't dive. He pure on flops like it's still the 2010s. What a decade the 2010s were. Pat, if you think Forest is the answer, you can't see the wood for the trees. Yeah, I don't think Forest is the answer, but I don't think I would rather take James Forrest than some of the other duds that have went. I mean, like Johnny Russell. I know he's not really been in the team for ages, but I think there's worse players taking James Forrest. The problem is the running of the Scottish game. Doncaster undersells us. He does. The media turns people like Silva into what they do with Morelos. When was the last time a Celtic player had Morelos treatment? I don't know why we don't back our players. He wasn't great or awful. See, when someone referred to Ross Wilson, I was confused, but that guy's called Ross Wilson in the chat. I thought everyone was on about the guy who's went to Forest for Rangers. I was like, what's going on there? Again, I just don't like when players dive, and I still will back them to a degree. But I thought Fabio Silva in the Old Firm 3-3 was disgusting, man. Despite winning a penalty, we are more worth than Hearts are worth more than the best bullet. But there you go then. But we're getting an extra £100,000 a year from the new Willie Hill sponsor. What? Hearts, what about his brother at Hearts? Alan Forrest? I don't think. Nah, I just don't see how he gets called up. I think he's all right, Alan Forrest, but no. Most SPL teams have a wage budget of a low-end League Two side. Yep. Alan Forrest deserves a call-up. Nah, well, I mean, how much down to the bare bones would we have to be whipping out Alan Forrest? Where is the dive media treatment for Atati? They kept implying David Turnbull was not that kind of player, and I've seen him stomp players 4 different times. It's the chief of Scottish football. I run the game into the ground and let Doncaster undersells it, and we lose sponsors and money due to it. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of Celtic players that dive, and I call it out. Don't you worry about it. Check out all the match reviews. He's rocking back and forth. That poo's ready to pop it. I was like, what's he on about? That's a nervous tick rocking back and forth. Ready to shite myself. 59 viewers, 58. Come on. Who wants to send us another super chat? Anybody? Anybody out there? Look at the 5-play deal and cinch. Both failed due to Doncaster, and he got $250,000 each for those deals, more than some clubs get in a year. Yeah, and you seen him, right? I don't know. I can't remember what it was on, but he's like laughing and joking about the TV deals. Oh, could Amazon take us? Oh, could Setanta Sports take us? Now, some people might not know what Setanta Sports is, but if you're old enough, you do know. But again, Neil Doncaster's a FUD, right? We've got less than 4 minutes, guys. I'm ending it at an hour, so hurry up. Get your thoughts in there. Get your thoughts in there. 55 people. Let's see here. Travago. Right, let's see what's comments have been said here. Come on, guy. The Japanese players are 60 odd kilos, so get a grip. Celtic players don't dive. It's pointless because we never get a decision. Ah, come on, Andrew. Don't be coming out with that. You dealt us a great hand with that super chat, but come on, Celtic do get plenty of decisions. Let's all be man enough to admit it, right? Rangers and Celtic get the most decisions in the league. Now we can say because they attack more, right? I'm a Rangers fan. I'm willing to accept that. The lesser teams doesn't. It's not just a Rangers Celtic. That's across the leagues in European world football. The bigger teams get the better decisions. It's like, see the top 6 in England. They're going to get more decisions than Luton Town. Real Madrid and Barcelona are going to get more decisions than Espanyol. That's how it works. All right. So see this gimmick that one side of the old firm thinks the other one cheats them, and they don't get anything. Come on, it's ridiculous. And I mean, Kyogo weighing 60 odd kilos doesn't do anything for me because Todd Cantwell isn't exactly built like Dwayne Johnston either. All right. Bournemouth get 100 million TV money. Yeah. Do these streams more often. This is well fun. Here we will, because I mean, I only the first live stream I did was yesterday on my channel. I did 2 yesterday, one the day earlier, which when I plugged the lead in at the laptop, it just absolutely finished. Denia Near Jaffrey, do these streams more often. This is well fun. Oh, I think I just read that, didn't I? Tesco Science, same way Arsenal, Liverpool, and City. Rest will do anything to force a title race in any league. Yeah, they will. I think they will. But I mean, you look at City, like the amount of decisions that has went their way, like the McAllister, like, but how that wasn't a penalty, I don't know. Even Arsenal there against Bournemouth last week, got a few decisions that went their way. Even yesterday, I think United could have potentially had a penalty, but yeah, it is what it is. Big teams do ordinarily get favoured. They do. It is what it is. You know, we can debate and say, oh, it's actually because, you know, we talk about it a million times on this channel. If Rangers was favoured more over Celtic, right? Celtic would have 0 penalties and Rangers would have 20 more penalties, and vice versa. It just doesn't work like that. Celtic press. So you look at the stats. Celtic have always got more fouls against them. Just look it up. Yeah, but that's just the way that Celtic and Rangers play. Like, I'm not denying that obviously because you attack more, like Celtic and Rangers are more likely to get penalties, right? But they're also more likely to get the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, got a minute to go. Get the questions in. Cheating happens in every sport except football. It's weird. Few drug busts, little corruption. Every other sport is right with cheating. Doesn't mean it's one-sided. Yeah, I mean every other, but no, but it's the same, right? Look at like Formula One, for example. See when they're dishing out penalties, they don't really give a shit when it comes to like the lesser teams, but see when it's like the teams at the top battling, absolutely, man. That's when they bend the rules. Abu Dhabi 2021. That's when rules were bended, even though I like Verstappen beating Hamilton. I'm not going to complain about that. Anyway, Hearts attack a lot today against Celtic. We played attacking, so that argument is dumb. No, it's not every game, right, that the Old Firm is going to be better than the team they're playing in an attacking sense. Hell, there's so many games this season Rangers and Celtic have been poor compared to the team they played, but for the most part, they are the more attacking teams, and that's why they will get the more decisions. But here, there's also a wee bit of hang in there. Phil Mack, thank you for the stream. Hope to catch your stream again. Do an end the season Rangers refueling through the toilet as you're straining out a jobby. I may as well just stick the webcam down the toilet because that sums up Rangers this season. Shite. And Pat O says, last word on Lundstrom, a bit of violence never hurt anyone. Yeah, I mean, see about Lundstrom. I mean, I said, right, if we're 3-0 down, he can go for that tackle if he wants. And people are taking it, oh, you're saying he goes out to injure him. Do people not miss that in the old firms, though? And there used to be these, like, fucking crunching tackles for the get-go. And even if it was a Celtic player, hitting a Rangers player on the ankle, I like hard-hitting football. I'm not saying go out to snap the guy's leg and end his career. But here, I like it. I like hard-hitting football. So Lundstrom going for that tackle doesn't bother me. It's when he done it. It's when he done it. Didn't need to do it. Playoff predictions for Scottish. All right. Partick Thistle to go up and Leeds to go up. There you go. Andrew says he's out. I'm out. Till next time, guys. Leave your thoughts down below. Check out my channel. Probably do a live stream about 5:30. Talking about the Dundee game. There's a lot to get through. 13 players out. Clement and Dessers in the presser. I'm away to the shitter, though. Till next time. Peace.